Swing in, swing out, to the left or to the right. Patio doors can solve different functional challenges, and making the wrong choice of how it operates can create new ones. There isn't one single best option. The right choice depends on how the space is used and what makes sense when it comes to how the layout of the home flows. In this video, we'll break down how the operation of a door impacts natural flow, furniture placement, entertainment, weather exposure, security, and exterior detailing, so homeowners can make a more informed decision based on how they live in their home. So if you're just now looking into it and you don't know, the difference between an inswing and an outswing patio door, whether the door swings outward from the home or inward from the home, it's going to make a huge difference in the flow and the direction it pushes your body. If you want your body to walk out that door and go to the right versus go to the left, that's going to dictate what flow of that door you're going to have, whether it's an inswing or an outswing. Now on this job, the Arcadia doors that we have are designed to swing outward, because when they are in the open position or even in the operational position, they are going to be obstructing the area on the outside of the home, not the inside of the home. This does make it better for furniture or walking area on the inside of the home. You always have to look at flow and what's going to work best for your home and the direction that you want to push people or the direction they are coming from. When you design the swing of your door, you always want to think about the everyday use, but yet you want to exaggerate that and think about when you entertain, when you have 10, 15, 20 people walking through this door. It definitely makes a difference which direction you want that flow of traffic to go. So you always need to take into consideration the operation, the direction, and the flow for your everyday use and when you have people over. Now, before choosing a swing direction, you always want to think about flow and that direction of where you're going to be coming from, whether it's the kitchen, the family room, or where you're going, whether it's the barbecue, the patio, or another area on the exterior. You always want to think about your constant flow. You're typically coming from the kitchen, going to either your barbecue or your outdoor seating area. That's the flow you want your door to be. So you got to take that into consideration before you look at the operation of your door. Once you figure out the flow, it'll tell you the operation of the door, what it should be. Now, from a day-to-day, the operation of an outswing versus an inswing are not going to be different as long as they are correct for your flow. If you have to take an extra step around your door or past your door to be able to use that door, every time you use that door, you are going to hate it. You're going to hate the design and operation of how that door works with your home and the flow. So it is very important to make sure that that door works with the best flow for your home. Now, weather is absolutely something that you need to take into consideration when you're looking at the operation of the door. You still need to take into consideration flow and what's going to work best for you, but you have to take into consideration water and air. Make sure that the door design that you're going to select is not going to be letting in a bunch of water. What is the weakest point on each door? An outswing door, the weakest point is the top, right where the door jamb meets the door frame, right on top. If you have no cover, then water can get right to that top of that door, and now you're relying 100% on the seals. If it's an in-swing door, your weakest link is the bottom part of that door. If you have a lot of wind-driven rain, let's say it's a upstairs patio door and there's nothing but wall next to you, no coverage whatsoever, and you know that gets hit by wind-driven rain, now you need to consider, does it need to be an outswing door, a sliding glass door, or just have a specific sill with a drip pan on it? All of those you need to consider for best flow, best function, and to make sure you keep the outside elements outside. I do get asked if there is a security benefit from either an outswing or an inswing door. The answer is yes, but it really depends on what else is secure around that home. Yes, it is more difficult to kick in an outswing door. You kind of can't do it without blowing out the entire jamb. Very, very difficult. You can kick in an inswing door a lot easier, but the glass is the weakest point of that door. So if that door has no glass in it, then the answer is an outswing door is by far better for kicking it in. You can still breach it. However, your glass around your windows across your entire home, I'm certain, are not nearly as secure as the door itself. So your weakest link is going to be your windows. So I would look at your door more so as flow, function, and what keeps the element out. Still take into consideration security, but that may not be your biggest deciding factor in how to design that door. Something that's overlooked is swing direction will change the look of the door in the closed position. When you have an outswing door, that door needs to be pushed all the way to the outside like this door here is. Once you imagine that door at a 90-degree position and you go further, that door needs to be able to open all the way up. If it is obstructed by your exterior wall, you're going to be binding those hinges up. That door is not going to open all the way, and then it's going to rip itself off the hinges if somebody shoves the door or the wind catches it. So with that being said, now the inside has a large jamb. If you have a block house with a 2x4 framing on the inside of it, your overall wall depth may be 12 inches. If you want an outswing door, that's fine. However, you need to know that you're going to have a very large jamb on the inside. Sometimes this might not look the best. So you would probably want to go with a full wood jamb to trim it off on the inside. If you have a drywall return, sometimes it looks a little funky. You're going to have to be the judge of that yourself. Just know what you're going to get yourself into, so ask some very specific design questions about how it's going to look to make sure that once you get that door installed, you're happy with it. Now, an in-swing door, quite the opposite. Needs to be flush to the inside so you can fold that door over. The exterior having a deeper jamb is by far more normal to see than the inside. You either have your stucco wrapped and returned to it, or you have your door jamb being wood and then trimmed off. If that's 8, 9, 10, 11 inches deep, that's going to look more natural than having that on the inside. But to each their own, it's really just a design look. As long as you are pushing that outswing door to the outside, the in-swing door to the inside, you won't have any functional problems. It's just about the design. When selecting the swing direction, you absolutely have to pick it before the door is ordered and built. You are not able to change it later. There's all different kinds of parts, the outswing sill, the outswing hinges, the outswing jamb versus in-swing on everything else. So you wouldn't be able to say, hey, we just had this door installed, it's an outswing, I'd love to make it an in-swing. You can't utilize the same parts. You have to get a complete new door unit. So do yourself a favor and figure it out before you place the order, or else you're paying twice for that one door opening, and nobody wants to see that. The biggest mistake that I have seen when homeowners choose a patio door and how it operates is they already have a design in their mind and they are gung-ho stuck with it. If they want a bifold door here or a pivot door there, they want the look and force that door to function for what they want. Typically, when that happens and the homeowner has that door installed, I check back. I check back after about a year, something like that. Those customers are not overly thrilled with the function of their door. They do say, yes, I love the look, but I wish I would have went with something that flows a little bit better. Even though that would have given them a different look that they didn't want, that flow and that function is what you use every day. So don't make that big mistake. Get the door that's going to work for flow and function, and get the best looking door that's gonna fit that. If you're thinking about replacing a patio door, we suggest that you see the doors in person so you can compare your options side by side. If you are in the Phoenix metro area, you can come out to our showroom, or we can visit you in your home and walk through those options in person. Head over to azwindowreplacement.com to schedule an appointment.
For quality